Hello everyone and welcome to yet another door-to-door mastery video. I am Paul Shakuri, and in this video, you are going to learn exactly why you should be making sense when you're talking to your potential customers and how to do that. This is a video you're definitely going to want to stay tuned, because if you're getting that dreaded not interested, it's simply because what you have to offer and how you're presenting it to the customers basically doesn't make sense. So stay tuned and watch this video. Okay, so you're back, and thank you so much for once again staying tuned at the Door-to-Door Mastery Show. Now, I want to explain, first of all, the number one reason why you keep getting not interested, or you may be progressing directly into your sale, but your customers are still not buying from you. You see, every single product and service that I know door-to-door, whether it be pest control, whether it be solar, whether it would be HVAC, they're all phenomenal products and services that people buy on a day-to-day basis, right? But how come they're not buying from you? How come they're not typically, if you're going out there and talking to, let's just say, 100 people or 25 people or 50 people, which, by the way, if you're doing 10, 15, or 20 people, you should be doubling it. You should be talking to 50 to 100. Just get out there, talk to as many people as you possibly can so you can increase the chances of getting a sale today. But aside from that, when you are talking to your potential customers, are they listening to you? Are you talking with clarity? And does it make sense? You see, everybody wants home automation, home security. Everybody wants pest control at their property. Everybody does. Whether they do it for themselves, whether they do it, they hire a company. Money may be the issue that's stopping people, and it's not all the time money, but stopping people from buying what you have to offer simply is just a reason because you're not being clear on what your offer really is. And a lot of times you can't be clear on what your offer is because you're not buying time to engage, lock, and talk to your potential customers. So how do we do this? And I'm going to teach you a lesson called question-based selling, okay? If your customers are not listening to you, they're not buying from you, okay? And if you can't identify if your customers are not listening to you, well, this is one simple reason, one simple way that you can actually lock and engage and get them more interactive with you to make sense. So, Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so, you mentioned, for example, let's just say we're talking about solar in this example, okay? Now, see, when we're talking about solar, there's, let's just say, two different types of reasons, main reasons why people would want to buy. And reason number one would be cleaner energy, right? A lot of people want greener, cleaner energy. Number two, people also want control over the electricity that they have coming into their house, right? That may be the second reason. They want control. Are you sick and tired of actually having the prices of your electricity bill going up and down and down and up more than down? Okay, for the first time, you can actually control that. Now, how does this work? You can't just tell a customer this, like, by the way, you can get in control and blah, 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 and they're gonna say, okay, yes. It has to make sense. You see, when you're talking to your potential customers, what's going on in their mind is this person's just a salesperson, this person at my door just wants to make money, and that's why you're getting rejected, and that's why they're not even listening to you with clarity. So how do you do it? You ask them a question. Let me ask you a question. So, Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so, how long have you lived here for? And they tell you, I lived in this house here, this neighborhood, for the last 6 to 7 years. You got their attention now. Okay, and let me ask you this. Have you noticed any fluctuations in the price of your electricity? Did you see it go up and down? And by the way, if you did, tell me a little bit about that. Yeah, well, it's pretty steady. Okay, don't settle. People are gonna try to give you a short response. They're gonna say, well, because they're lazy. People these days, unfortunately, we become a lazy society, and we just don't wanna definitely deal with it. So, yeah, I don't know, I just pretty much the same, or my wife deals with it. Okay, have you noticed, though, that as your wife told you that you typically, and if you haven't, here, let me show you something. Be prepared. A lot of you are not prepared at the doors. You're just going out there, crossing your fingers, hoping you're gonna freaking get a deal. Look, you wanna be the top athlete at door-to-door sales? You better come prepared, and you better get better every single day. How? Okay, so Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so, so this is somebody who has not or claims his wife is the one that basically pays the electricity bill. Let me show you something. Since 2012 up until now, where the electricity has gone. Now, showing them visually what I'm doing. Instead of them just telling me, just not interested, goodbye, and see you later, I'm engaging them, I'm locking them in, and I'm having it make sense. So you take a look at the prices. It went from here to there. What if I were to tell you, first of all, let me ask you a question. Where do you think it's gonna go in the next 5 years, especially with what's happening right now? And then they basically say, well, I mean, the price of everything always goes up, right? See, sales is an art. You need to go back and forth. You need to be charismatic. You need to have some personality. A lot of you don't. I'm gonna be 100% honest. A lot of you don't have personality. Doesn't mean you can't. You just don't have it yet. Get out of that bubble. Stop feeling like you're the victim. Get out there and make sure that you take control. Look, Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so, I understand you want me gone because I'm a typical salesperson, you may believe. But hold on. Look at the price of gas or look at the price of electricity and where it's gone. If it's gone from here to here, and what if I were to tell you that if you said, basically based on the question I asked you, you believe it's gonna be here, what if I were to tell you today, you can get it cleaner for less expensive and you can lock it in and finally be in control of your electricity bill? Honestly, from the back of my head, because it makes sense to me, it has to make sense to you. Do you believe that would be something that you and your family would be able to benefit from? You see, I'm just going and rambling right now on a quick little fix that you can do. What I'm trying to tell you is, if you're talking and it's not making sense to them, like, oh, by the way, you can get your electricity, and they're like, yeah, huh? Oh, okay, yeah, sure, why not? You're not gonna get the sale. You need to have a structure, a set plan on where you're gonna take your customer, a timeline from A, B, C, D, all the way to Z, okay? You need to have a set timeline. And while you're communicating with this customer, you need to know where you're at in this timeline. And once you understand that, okay, I'm at the opener, and now after I'm at the opener, I got some hot buttons that this person likes. He's a go green type of person, and he likes obviously cleaner energy, so that's a hot button. And now he's starting to engage and lock with me on that. Well, how is it greener? And they start communicating and asking questions. You make sense. How is it greener? Let me show you this. Well, number one, we use this, and the sun is free, and blah, blah, blah. You start talking. But let me ask you, does that make sense? Yes, it does. Okay, so how is it greener if you were to go solar? Let me ask you this question, Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so. And they start telling you, well, you said basically that this would happen and that would this. Now you made sense. The way you're gonna understand whether or not you're making sense to your customers is by asking them questions. And once you ask them questions about what you're talking about, your features, and how they can benefit, at the end of the day, that's when they're gonna start going, I see myself now benefiting from this. And then we're gonna talk more about, in all of my videos, how to close more sales by asking for the right way, and so much more that will help you close more sales at those doors. Hey, I wanna thank you so much for watching this video. And by the way, if you haven't already, follow me on my social media, Twitter @PShack, or even on Facebook. And don't forget to smash the subscribe button here on YouTube to get all of my videos directly to your inbox as I create them and actually send them out. When I upload a new one, you will instantly get it. All you gotta do, smash that subscribe button. Thank you so much for listening, and that concludes this video.